Almost 2,500 miles. That's how far I've come paddling on the Missouri River. I reach Hermann in the heart of the Missouri Rhineland. It's named after the Rhine River Valley, and it really looks a little bit like Germany. And they also grow and make wine here. Someone is already waiting to greet me.
Hello. Hello.
I want to follow America's longest river. Its entire length, source to sea, almost 4,000 miles. And I'd like to meet the people who live here.
It's come from the soul. Yeah.
A river rat is a person who's not happy anywhere else except for right here.
If things go bad, I can always jump on the river and I'm out of town.
See stars and things that you just can't see. I guess that's the romantic in me.
From the mountains, the Missouri River flows across the prairie, the Midwest to the Mississippi, and then to the deep south until it reaches the Gulf of Mexico. The fourth leg will bring me from the Missouri to the Old Man River and all the way to the Delta, where the heart of the blues beats.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
This is Jonathan. He works at a vineyard in Hermann. Hermann was founded by German settlers in the 1800s. Named after Hermann the Cheruscan. Jonathan has taken me to Stone Hill, the vineyard that he works for.
Everything you see here from this point to the river was a sea of grapevines. And in Prohibition, they tore up all those grapevines, and they even threw the oak barrels into the river. And folklore says that the river ran red for a day.
And all the fish were drunk?
And all the fish were drunk. And you can see these little guys here. So these are Norton grapes, and they grow very plentifully because of the soil. The soil here is very nutrient rich. It is particularly like for bold, dry red wines. I think it's the area that the Germans chose for the best region to grow grapes. You know, it's particularly hot and humid, and so the grapes like it here.
And what about the river? Because without the river, no valley, no wine.
No valley, no wine, and on the hillside, the grapes grow, so that's why we're here. Thanks to the Missouri.
Jonathan brings me to the wine cellar.
And originally, there were 6,000-gallon casks, wooden casks, that had to be cleaned by hand. Here is our, as it connects the two wine cellars. Stone Hill is known for the largest series of arched cellars in North America.
Really?
Yes.
Now we'd like to try one, of course.
Okay.
I'm a little bit nervous, I have to admit, because I've never had a glass of wine, Jonathan.
Well, you're about to get a an experience.
But in order to enjoy the experience, like but how do you actually get the flavor out? Because I'm not really drinking it right away, right?
So, big thing is aroma. So you give it a good sniff.
Cheers to the Missouri Rhineland.
Amen.
And the river that enabled all of this.
All right.
I could get used to that, I
Right?
think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonathan invites me to his home. He lives on the edge of town in a historic log home. Together with his mother Heidi and his stepfather Paul.
How's the trip going down the river?
It's going well.
Is she treating you good?
She has been very kind to me. Yes. No challenge. Well, not the challenges, yes, but not any challenges that were too threatening or scary.
Water snakes.
They've killed, how many did you kill in Colorado a month ago? And now here we are in Hermann, Missouri.
I'm always excited when I meet people, because of my food on the river. It's so junky. There are some granola bars, lots of peanut butter.
Can I show you the studio room? Mm-hmm. Sure.
You guys do that.
Yeah, we'll finish here.
Jonathan and Paul are musicians.
Here's where we do it.
They write their own songs.
Piano. I like simple, compelling notes and nice folksy stuff. Really laid back.
What song are you going to play?
So this one, I called it Water of Life.
They call me down by the river and under streets where I roam. When the rains don't deliver, I'm the shaper of souls. I'm the water of life, and I cut like a knife to be free.
Something like that.
Music is food for the soul.
It is.
Paul and
Yeah, we like jamming together, so.
Shaper of soul.
Shaper of souls.
Nice. That's also a nice phrase.
Mozzarella sticks.
Oh. Dinner in the backyard. Over salad, bread, and cheese, we talk about life in small-town America, where everybody knows everybody.
You like the small town atmosphere.
I spent most of my life working in Los Angeles, so 6 lanes of traffic too. We have 6 stop signs. There's not a traffic light in this town. So we like it. It definitely lowers everything down,
It's a bubble.
It's a little bubble.
Paul and his family have created their own little paradise, right here on the Missouri in Missouri.
That was hysterical. I wish I was.
I've never seen a straight river flowing from the land or the sea, up and down and all around. God's finger seems to carve them all with ease. So why do some people and some preachers on TV try to sell the world that God's so straight and neat? I've never seen a square mountain, no, rising from the coast or the plains, up and down and all around. God's finger never carves them all the same. So why do some people and some preachers on TV try to sell the world that God's so straight and need. I've never seen a straight river, no, no.
So your trip's been good?
It's been good.
This is Lance Strohacker.
And you know, a lot of people say it's the most beautiful stretch, but I think the Missouri is beautiful everywhere you go.
It's a wonderful resource. For me, right in my backyard. And I'm really, really blessed.
It's the brother and sisterhood in a way.
Yeah.
You know, that the river all connects us in a way.
It is.
And
what I like about it is that it was the first highway in America. Yeah. And it was one of the first connections and for people to trade and transport things. And now we're doing that, but we're transporting each other's stories along the way up and down the river. And it's really, it's a beautiful thing. The family aspect of all of us on the river and paddlers. It's awesome.
Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, really.
See what New Haven has to offer.
All right.
Lance lives in New Haven, a historic town of 2,000 people, with a small arts district right behind the levee. Lance and his business partner Gary are glassblowers.
Hey, how about a hug, brother?
They came up with something very special for the Missouri paddlers. We get the chance to blow an ornament. Later, the ornaments will be put up on the ceiling and we paddlers sign the wall below. Lance is passionate about glassblowing because of the material.
It's liquid, it's like water, it's like pure magic. You can take that liquid material and make it into this sculptural form.
Once the color is put on and manipulated, even though there's some craft in that process, then the real exciting part is blowing it out. Okay, grab between my hands and we're gonna go in there and just roll it. We got the perfect river blue.
River blue?
River blue.
Yeah.
Well, copper blue, what we call it.
Right. Montana river blue.
Art is the expression of, for me, art is the expression of any emotion. So some people like to express themselves and show the dark sides of life. I think the most powerful thing that you can do with art is change people's lives for the better. So my choice is to bring beauty into the world.
When Gary and Lance moved here years ago, they chose New Haven for their business on purpose. And the Missouri played a huge role in that.
And everybody knows when the river's high, and everybody knows when the river's low. In most towns, there isn't that unifying force. And I think that's what it is. And I think there's also this certain thing in the back of your head, when things go bad, I can always jump on the river and I'm out of town.
And then the moment has come. My first attempt at glass blowing.
All right, Dirk. All right, go ahead and blow. You're there. Good job, buddy. Gotta go. So it's really a dance with heat and gravity. Sometimes you lead the dance, sometimes you follow. Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah. Look at that blue that Gary picked for you.
It's blue like the Missouri, way upriver, before it turns into the Big Muddy.
The Big Muddy, indeed. The Missouri is living up to its name. In the 3 months of traveling on the Missouri, I've witnessed how the river has changed, how she's grown. And now, I'm reaching the end.
This is it, the last strokes on the Missouri. just ahead of me, she opens wide into the Mississippi. I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time because, well, I've accomplished something. 2,500 miles paddling downriver, but I'm also sad because I have to say goodbye to the Missouri. But then again, the water doesn't stop flowing, so plenty more miles to go.
This is where the two longest rivers on the continent meet. Here, my home stretch begins, 1,200 miles, southbound on the Old Man River, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. I'm a little nervous. The Missouri may be the longest river in North America, but the Mississippi is easily twice as wide, and it's already challenging me with the chain of rocks. Natural rocks and concrete dam the Mississippi for one of the water treatment plants of St. Louis. The rapids just below are too dangerous to paddle at the moment. I don't want to risk damage and decide to portage around. The Port of St. Louis is one of America's busiest inland ports. Its landmark, the iconic arch, is a symbol for the gate into the West, to the once promised land. Cape Girardeau, a few days downriver, tries to keep the river out of town with a flood wall and closes the gates when the water rises. The Mississippi is America's water highway, with gigantic barges traveling up and downriver. Grain, cement, coal, and oil are transported on the river. The entire country depends on this lifeline. 3 days later, I reach the confluence of the Ohio and the Mississippi. The banks are now up to 1 mile apart, and I feel even smaller. Memphis, Tennessee, birthplace of rock and roll. The city is full of music and history. The motel where Martin Luther King was assassinated is now the National Museum of Civil Rights. And Beale Street may be America's most exciting musical mile, not far away from the Mississippi. Memphis is also the home port for the American Queen, the largest steamship ever built.
I'm Dirk, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Steve Willis, Chief Engineer. Welcome to the American Queen.
Dirk, Ricky Idyllic.
Steve and Ricky work as engineers on the American Queen. Today is Monday. The ship has just arrived. Before the journey can continue, new supplies need to be loaded. That will take a few hours. Steve and Ricky show me the upper deck, with plush features and lots of antiquities.
There's some legend that goes on with this boar.
That boar supposedly washed up in the paddle wheel as it was swimming across the river and wound up on the deck of the boat. So that's where that boar came from.
Poor thing.
We head below the deck to the engine room.
So, we are coming down into the engineering viewing area, which is accessible to all the passengers. Back in the day, there was no electric drive. It was all steam. And 270 degrees, you have one push, one pull, one push, one pull.
But this is the this is where the action happens right here. This is like a living piece of history. So if you've ever read Mark Twain or know anything about the Mississippi River, you know about steamboats. And if you want to experience that, there's no other way than through a steamboat.
So let's take a walk out to the paddle wheel. This is steam paddle wheeler. The crew affectionately referred to this as Big Red.
Big Red?
Big Red. It weighs a little over 90,000 pounds, and it's primarily constructed of Douglas fir. And they use it because it doesn't contain very many knot holes, which make a weak point in the boards. A lot of people will say, well, why don't they construct it out of metal? Because When you hit debris, you break the boards. Well, this is actually a sacrificial board. We want this to break should we hit debris. If it did not break, it could actually damage our engine. It's almost hard to believe that someone did this 100 years ago. They were doing the exact same thing I'm doing, basically running the same engines that I'm running. And we pride ourselves in carrying on the tradition.
The American Queen is more than 400 feet long, with 222 rooms for over 400 passengers and a crew of 160. I meet Captain Greg Brown. Soon, he will steer the American Queen underneath this bridge, which has a nickname.
Upper Memphis Highway Bridge. Colloquially, we call it the Dolly Parton Bridge.
Oh,
that's what it's known amongst the boat guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, there's the proper names and there's what we call them.
Sure.
Right.
So does the Mississippi ever get old to you?
No, because it's always changing. You know, there are certain truisms about it, one of which is all that business about shifting sandbars and the river being different all the time. That's not fiction, that actually happens. You know, and that's still a craft that's practiced out here, is, you know, reading the water.
Reading the water, yes. Have you had some close calls?
You know, I've done this about 38 years, so for everybody that's in my line of work, if they told you they've never had a close call, they're probably not being very truthful, or they're due a really bad one.
Right.
Captain Greg is taking me into the control room.
Great, come on, follow me. So yeah, this is our control station up here. You know, people come up and sometimes they expect kind of that historic look, you know, the big wheel and all that kind of stuff. And so we have an area on the boat down in the chart room that kind of replicates all that. But once you make it up to the pilot house up here, despite this being, you know, a vintage stern wheel riverboat, this is, you know, very modern, very commercial. You know, we have to hand steer every square inch of everywhere we go. The river's just too dynamic. It's always moving. You can't set a waypoint and go somewhere. I never know when somebody on a kayak's going to get out in front of me.
I'll pay attention to you guys.
You need to pay attention to me, that's right. So yeah, we hand steer everything, and as we were talking about earlier, you know, we're always reading the water. I'm looking for where the water's breaking, so I know where the sandbars are at. I'm looking for where it's shiny, where I know the slow water's at. There's still just a lot of communication that goes on here that gets us all up and down the river safely.
Part of the communication on the river, besides the radio, is the traditional horn.
That's a musical instrument. Those are 3 notes, and when you pull them together correctly, they make a chord. And when you don't, it screeches and sounds like you're killing cats. So I answered just a blind ad in a newspaper for River Deckhand. I had no idea what it was. And went to a little office trailer on the Tennessee River and met a man that changed my life when I was in my late teens. And almost 40 years later, I guess it's safe to call it a career. You know, I just kind of stumbled into it and never left.
The American Queen is almost 90 feet wide. Whenever Captain Greg needs to maneuver her to the side, he leaves the control room and comes out onto the deck.
So when I'm maneuvering alongside, I have a whole set of controls out here so I can get a good look at the side of the boat, you know, while I'm doing that. I love getting in these remote places and the night sky opens up and you see stars and things that you just can't see, you know, muddied down by city lights. It's fantastic. I guess that's the romantic in me.
Time to head out. This time, the American Queen will cruise upriver. And I continue to paddle south in the flow. By now, I have been traveling for 3.5 months in my kayak, from the mountains in Montana, across the prairie in the Midwest to the deep South and the Mississippi Delta. Marianna, Arkansas, a typical Delta town. 3,500 people live here, but the numbers are falling. Most of the residents are African Americans, with a third of the families living below poverty. Once the cotton provided jobs, now the planting and harvesting are mostly automated. The Delta is also known for barbecue. Jones Barbecue in Marianna might be the oldest black-owned restaurant in the country.
Hello, Mr. Harold.
They've been smoking pork shoulders here for more than a century.
How's the business going? Real good?
Harold Jones is the third generation running the family business.
We'll cook chickens, ribs, and stuff like that for you, if you bring it. But we don't cook it for sale.
May I come in?
The secret to success of Jones Barbecue is the homemade barbecue vinaigrette. It's so good that it even won a James Beard Award, one of the highest culinary honors.
Recipe?
Yeah.
You've never shared it except with family.
Right.
Can you tell anything about the recipe at all?
No, no. It's top secret. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been approached by a big company saying, hey, we want your recipe, we want to sell your vinaigrette?
All the time.
And what do you say?
No.
Pitmaster Spanky only uses oak and hickory wood. The pork shoulders slowly cook for hours until they are nice and smoky and so tender that you can easily pull the meat off the bones for the best pulled pork sandwich west of the Mississippi. Some customers come from far away, and Harold is frequently sold out even before noon. Today, business is really good.
Believe me, they good.
Yeah.
Me with barbecue, we eat barbecue all our life.
Right.
Yeah, so you know the people who season the meat, that's how you win. The season, it's in the soul. That's where the love come from. You know what I'm saying?
You say in the soul?
It's come from the soul.
Oh
yeah.
Pulled pork, barbecue vinaigrette, homemade coleslaw, white bread. Heaven.
Yeah. So good.
But the Delta has more to offer than yummy sandwiches. Many musicians who have influenced even today's music were born here. Johnny Cash, Tina Turner, and blues legends like Muddy Waters and B.B. King. Helena in Arkansas was once called the capital of the Delta Blues. But its time as a booming town has long since passed. Still, Helena continues to write history with a legendary radio show. Thomas Jacks is the host of the King Biscuit Time. It is the longest-running daily radio show in the world. Broadcasting since 1941, every weekday from 12:15 to 12:45. More than 18,000 shows have aired.
And with that magic proclamation from the maestro, it gets all sunny in the studio, all across the Delta, all over the world. Because for the next half hour, that sunshine surrounds us for King Biscuit time.
Thomas not only hosts, he also picks the music.
Yes, I do.
Don't you have a dream job?
This aspect of it, this is the most fun 30 minutes of the day anybody can be having.
Right.
It's great. Welcome to the latest episode of King Biscuit Time. Playing those blues you can use, because that's what we do.
Let me ride, ride in your automobile.
Now, why is the Delta the birthplace of blues, so to say?
Because of it is a land where those who created the music had little opportunity to do anything else. This is a music that comes out of the fields of impoverished people with limited rights, with limited availability of change. Blues are not a sound that comes out of a happy, content populace. It comes out of the sound of pain and labor and sorrow, and some of that is expressing that pain, some of it is hoping for a brighter day, and some of it is just taking the joy of living in those moments you can find it, and the blues gives that expression. Welcome to the latest episode of King Biscuit Time, playing those blues you can use, because that's what we do. You're listening to program number 18,715 of the original King Biscuit Time show on radio station KFFA AM 1360. And we got a special guest with us today in the studio.
Hello,
there you
everybody.
go. Hey, Dirk, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Dirk, or in German it would be Dirk, but since a lot of people over here have problems, I call myself Dirk.
Okay.
I'm from Germany. I'm paddling down the river from the Missouri headwaters all the way to the Gulf.
Wow.
That's a long journey, I know.
That's a bit of a trip. Okay, Dirk, stick around, and
Thank you.
we're gonna get back to the music now.
May I
Can you make a request?
Yes.
I'd love it.
That'd be great, because I'm thinking I want to go to Clarksdale, because I heard this is where Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil.
He did write and sing a song called Crossroads. Yes.
Would you play that for me?
I would love to play Crossroads Blues for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. When you hear the blues, it provides you with something that's doing worse than you are, and so there's a cathartic spirit in it, and that can be too. There's many things, and I don't only listen to blues, but the best of blues, much like the best of any music, is transcendent, and as such, it's something that needs to continue and needs to find an audience.
It is hot on the river. The water level keeps dropping. Each day, the sandbars and islands become bigger. I'm in the heart of America's deep south. From Arkansas on the right bank, I'm crossing over to the other side, to Mississippi.
All forward, team. That's it, Dickie, that's it.
Here, I meet John Ruskey. John is a musician, painter, outfitter, river guide, mentor, and a real river rat. Nobody knows the Mississippi like he does. John takes children and youth out on the river, especially from underprivileged families. Today, John wants to bring them to a beautiful beach that you wouldn't initially expect to find on the Mississippi.
All right, everybody, hard paddle. We need to get in.
We head towards an island in the middle of the river. And feel a little bit like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. For many of these youth, it is a first, not only on the Mississippi, but also in the water. Most of them have never learned how to swim.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, you're good. Especially the kids, the young men and women that come from the communities along the Mississippi River, you know, the counties and states, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Tennessee especially, who are taught to be afraid of the Mississippi and have no idea what this is actually more like a ocean beach than it is a scary place or a polluted place.
To take away the fear, John also teaches the teenagers how to swim.
Yeah, you can do it like that. There you go. It's a place that everything is equalized, and we all share in the paddling. Every person in the canoe is like the links of a chain. Everyone is important as everyone else. And there's no yes sir, no sir, yes man. The river has a way of leveling the playing field. Oh, it's always we ramble this river, you and I. All along your green valleys I will work until I die.
Are you serenading my boat?
Music flows in the river, and the river flows through music, so I don't know. I can't separate the two.
John loves the blues and the river.
Well, I dreamed about a girl on a stern-wheel steamboat, paddle house ridge.
And somehow, the almost unbearable heat here in the south is also part of that.
You know, you can't fight the heat no more than you can fight water. You know, the harder you hit water, the harder it hits back. But if you allow water to flow through your hands and it falls softly and makes a cascade of pearls, you know, they're like jewels. But then if you slap water, it slaps you back, you know. So the heat is kind of the same way, and maybe it's not by mistake that the heat and the river and the mud are all in the same place, and that is Mississippi Delta. May the river be with you.
There's probably some truth to that. And it's the reason why John, the man from the mountains of Colorado, has stayed right here along the Mississippi. Hardly a day passes without him being out here on his river.
What is a river rat?
A river rat is a person who's not happy anywhere else except for right here.
So you and me?
Yeah, exactly.
Clarksdale, Mississippi. Perhaps something like the germ cell of the blues, with the road crossing where Robert Johnson has supposedly met the devil. During the day, the town almost feels a little sleepy, but the blues clubs of Clarksdale are legendary. Every day, you can hear live music here. During the week, on weekends, and even on holidays. That was the reason why musician Lucius Spiller has moved here. Lucius is originally from St. Louis.
I feel as though it's pretty much the epicenter of the world for the blues. With Robert Johnson, the Crossroads myth. It's where it all pretty much started from here in Clarksdale, in this area, the Delta.
Lucius wants to show me the place that made Clarksdale that epicenter of the Delta blues. This historic building houses the studio of WROX. In the 1940s, this AM station was the first to have a black DJ. For decades, Early Wright has invited artists to come on his show to play live in the studio. Sam Cooke, B.B. King, Muddy Waters played here, Elvis Presley, and Ike Turner, who later also became a DJ here. The record players still look like the last DJ has just finished his show. Even the records are still on, with a little bit of dust.
Back in the day. This is crazy. Music history. Vinyl's over here on this, like Columbia, like from Columbia. Say we have a blues trail marker down in Noxubee County. It's called the Black Prairie Blues, like my grandfather and his brother and nephew, like in the early 1900s, used to travel around like the different plantations and farms and like play parties for them. Like. And they were biracial, and the name of the band was like the Salt and Pepper Shakers. So in the early 1900s, it was kind of like risque for like 1908, somewhere around there. Yeah, but other than that, I guess it's in the DNA. Yeah, I don't know. It's hot up in this. Mississippi hot.
Nobody gets used to this heat, even if you are from here. One day, this building will hopefully become a museum to preserve the history and the old technology.
Sonny Boy Williams from over in Helena would come do live performances. So that's like the live performance room out there.
That's where all the live performances were.
Yeah, like that picture right there.
Oh yeah.
They got WROX radio.
Win the tickets to see Lucius Spiller tonight.
I wish.
It's like going into a church, Lucius. All the spirits that are still lingering.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started playing the blues?
I was like about 5 years old. My dad showed me my first little. Well, playing music, period, is just this spiritual thing. Because I've never taken a lesson in my life, you know. While I'm on this tedious journey, walk with me, Lord, please. Walk with me. Like I said, the blues right there, walk with me, Lord. want to see this turn. See what I mean by my opinion? Like all days of modern music, like stems from the blues one way or another.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sweating like we've been out in the cotton field somewhere. Or going to the electric chair.
Yeah. Going to the electric chair, nice, yeah.
I was born to sing the blues. There's a blues part of me, from my head down to my shoes. The blues can make you happy, the blues can make you sad, because the blues ain't nothing but a good man feeling bad. I was born to sing the blues. You know the blues are part of me, from my head down to my shoes.
Yeah.
The blues is the lifeblood of Clarksdale. Without it, the town would have probably been long forgotten. These days, music lovers from all over the world come to this small town in the Mississippi Delta, especially for the blues clubs. Tonight, Lucius Spiller is playing in one of the most legendary ones, Red's Lounge. Lucius embodies the blues. He's known, but he's not a star. That's something he has in common with many musicians in the Delta. Fame and fortune don't seem to be important. They play no matter how many listeners are in the audience. The blues is inseparable from the Mississippi, and it will also accompany me for a bit on my last leg.